Welcome back to another episode on Anxiety Doesn't Own Me podcast. My name is Emmanuel Isaacson, and I'm an anxiety coach who helps people to overcome and heal their anxiety naturally. On today's episode, what I'm going to be discussing is about association and why this is important. And I know a lot of people that struggle with anxiety, we have that issue where we associate certain things to our anxiety. We associate certain things that can trigger and does trigger our anxiety. And today I want to talk about how important it is to catch this, to be able to catch this, to understand that just because a certain place or a certain situation or a certain person triggered your anxiety doesn't mean that every other place or person or whatever it is going to trigger your anxiety. Like, for example, is whenever something that happened to us in the past, we believe that if we are experiencing certain things, that means it's going to happen again. We are literally trying to predict the future from our past situation. Like, for example, I have someone on my one-on-one coaching, and she is very afraid of experiencing severe anxiety like that she did years ago, and sometimes she gets anxious because of a certain situation that reminds her or that she is experiencing right now, which makes her believe that she is going backwards and that she will be the way she was. But the truth is that's not going to happen. And it's tricky to catch this thing. We have to catch us associating these kind of things because they can really make us feel as if, for example, with her, as if she's actually going backwards, and it can make a person feel really down. But what we could do is that we need to catch this in order for us not to fall in the anxiety trap. Because it doesn't mean just because something that happened to you in the past, that means it's going to happen to you in the future. Like with her, for example, I told her that you have to understand now you have tools and techniques. You have developed yourself for I don't know how many years. You have developed yourself in a very tremendous way, and you have grown in a very tremendous way. It doesn't mean that just because you have and you think and you feel this way, that means it's going to happen again. And I know it's just a fear. It's your anxiety trying to protect you from that situation that you went through. Because again, at the end of the day, our anxiety is there to protect us. It's there to watch over us. That's what's its job. But with us, unfortunately, right now, it's on overload. It's on overdrive. It is on DEFCON 5, where it doesn't need to be on DEFCON 5. It doesn't have to be on DEFCON 1. It doesn't have to be on alert at all, but it's just the way we are wired that way, and we need to change that. But we need to catch that association so that we don't fall in that trap and believe in like, oh my God, like, am I really, like in her situation, am I really going backwards? But the truth is that there is no basis to that. There is no evidence to that. And we have to look at the contrary and tell ourselves and speak. You see, speak to ourselves and stop listening to the anxiety. Because a lot of us, we just listen to our anxiety and we just go with it. We need to stop listening to it and start talking back to it and say, who says just because A, B, and C happened doesn't mean I'm experience that again? It doesn't mean that. There's no evidence whatsoever. We have to talk back to it to shut the anxiety up. We need to talk back to it. We can't just stay silent and say, you know what, that's what it means. And we can't just stay scared like that. We have to fight back. We need to stand up against the anxiety and fight back and not let it win. Now, I know that's not an easy thing to do all the time, and I know we're going to forget about that, but we have to make certain reminders and tell ourselves, you know what, okay, in this situation, whenever I am associating, this is what I am going to do. Because again, association is a very common thing, and it's very common with anxiety because again, it's trying to protect you from the danger. It doesn't want you, in her situation, to go back the way she was with that severe anxiety, and that's a valid fear because of what she went through. It wasn't an easy thing, and it wasn't an easy time. And of course, we need to heal that and tell to the anxiety, like, listen, you don't need to protect me. I don't need your safety at all. I am okay on my own. You no longer need to be my protector. When I need you, I will inform you. You don't inform me. I am in control over you. You are not in control. I'm in control of my own life. So what can we do whenever our anxiety is associating certain situations and that is increasing our anxiety? What can we do in order to stop this? What we could do whenever we are associating and whenever we catch it, what we could do is tell ourselves, like, number one, this situation is completely different than that I had in the past. And it doesn't mean just because in the past that I experienced certain, an anxiety attack or a panic attack doesn't mean that it's going to happen today. Number two, what we can say is that I am more equipped today to be able to handle that, because we want to give ourselves some confidence. We have to give ourselves some confidence and to show that we are capable in handling it. We can tell ourselves, you know what? I have the tools, I have the techniques, I have a better knowledge of what I'm experiencing, and I am going to conquer. If it does happen, I am going to conquer it and I'm going to overcome this. Number three, what we can do is look at the situation in more of a positive way. Again, we have to always look at situations in a positive way. I know that's kind of hard because we're used to thinking negatively, but you can write it down. At the end of the day, try to think about it. Sit down and say, you know what? I associated this with this. Okay, now what can I do to think about future events or whatever it is in a more positive way? What can I do? So that is another thing that we can apply to help us to stop the association and be able to maneuver our brain more off the anxiety and more into the calmness, so that our brain stops associating with certain situations. Now, another powerful thing that we can do, number four, is also to heal ourselves. Meaning, if there was a certain situation that we went through and that is easily triggering our anxiety, we have to heal that issue that we are ever experiencing. Because at the end of the day, we went through something and it's something severe and it's something that scares us, and we need to take care of that. And I know that's a very obvious thing and it does take time, but there is different ways that we can do that. But guys, these are just some ways that we can stop our anxiety whenever we are associating certain situations that is triggering our anxiety. Because again, remember guys, just because it happened in one place or in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen again. Just because it rained for the past week doesn't mean the sun is not going to come out tomorrow. This helps us to move forward and actually take off our anxiety and to be able to look at things in a different way and start training our brain to think more positively and give us certainty to be able to overcome and heal our anxiety. If you did like this episode, please click the like button and leave a 5-star review. The reason why I ask is because this way we're able to reach more people, and the more people that we can actually reach, the more people that we can actually help. Because my mission in this world, my purpose is to help people to overcome and heal their anxiety naturally and show them that it's possible to overcome. Thank you guys. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.